All right, to this, as the 2024 elections draw closer, all political parties are urging South Africans who are not registered to vote to do so. The Independent Electoral Commission says it's ready for a voter registration drive next weekend. We're joined now by the IEC's CEO, Mamabolo. Mr. Mamabolo, thank you for being with us as always. The issue, as always, is young people, the first-time voters, the people not necessarily rushing out to get registered. Do we know how many unregistered South Africans there are, firstly?
We will be announcing that. We're just working out the final details of those figures in the course of the week. We're working together with Stats SA on the back of the recent census results.
Is it millions, roughly?
I would imagine so, because we've experienced a population growth. So proportionally, there would be a number of those in that population number of 62 million that are eligible to vote. But as I say, when we hold our media briefing later in the week, we should be able to give you what we call the registration gap.
All right, sure. Say there are even hundreds of thousands. Are you ready in terms of the venues, the technology for a registration drive next weekend?
Certainly, our staff, just under 70,000 of them, have gone through the necessary training. They should be able to dispense a service to South Africans of quality and with a measure of customer centrism. And then as regards the venues themselves, yes, leases have been signed, and the landlords are awaiting us for our arrival on Saturday morning. We've done our dry run. There are certain niggles that we needed to attend to. Those have been attended to, and the final checks will happen this coming Monday.
The registration, am I correct to say, often happens at the same venue where people can go and vote? So in that respect, it's a little bit of a dry run, or not always?
Certainly, we see this as a dry run. And you're right, a substantial majority of the voting stations will be the same as the registration stations. There may be perhaps 2% where there are variations because of the availability of the venue. But in the main, if you go to your registration station and register with an address in that voting district, you will be voting at that voting station.
All right, so this is next Saturday, the 18th, and Sunday, the 19th. How can people register? Just give them the basic information. What if you're sitting there thinking, am I registered? Am I not? And what are the options?
Well, there are a number of options. The first one, which is the most convenient, I suppose, is that you can go to a voting station. It's a station within your community. You can barely walk to the voting station. So you need your South African identity document, be it a smart card, a green barcoded ID, or in the event you lost any of those two, you can get a temporary identification certificate, which will be competent for purposes of registration. We will need you to provide an address where you live or details of where you live. You don't necessarily have to bring proof of address. That's not the expectation. You just need to provide an address, and then you'll be placed in a particular segment of the voters' roll. Other modalities of registration is the online registration system, which is available 24/7. So if you visit our voter portal, and then you can register there, upload the copy of your ID, and the registration is done. You'll get confirmation once it has been processed, either by SMS or by email.
I'd love to know how you're seeing these elections. The ANC, according to some research, may not get the majority this time. That suggests these elections are wide open. All the political parties, for obvious reasons, are pushing registration. Do you welcome that? And do you expect that we could see participation, perhaps, that we haven't seen in the past?
From the accounts in the public commentary, there may be changes, we don't know. The voter will decide, because it is the voter who ultimately decide what the outcome of the election must be. But because of the increased contestation, it is our hope and prayer that it leads to the greater participation of South Africans, so that whatever outcome is brought to the fore, it is grounded on the true political aspirations of a significant majority of the qualifying voting population.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Mamabolo, and get out and register. That is the message. If you have not yet done so, that drive next weekend. That was Independent Electoral Commission CEO.